If I asked you what are some good Nuzlocke Pokemon, who would you say? Gyarados? Salamence? The Poison Heal Gliscor that shows up in all my Nuzlockes? Those are all great answers, and I'm sure there's many more. But what about bad Nuzlocke Pokemon? What makes a Pokemon bad for Nuzlocking? Today, we're going to answer that question by trying to beat Pokemon Black Trash Lock. This is a challenge I've already attempted before, but didn't manage to complete. I did well all the way until the final end fight, where I made the small mistake of forgetting to put work up on my Ambipom. But that was 10 months ago, and my Nuzlocke skills and tactics have definitely improved. So let's see if I can beat Pokemon Black using only trash Pokemon. To start the answer to what makes a Pokemon trash, we can start by looking at the starters. Oshawott, Snivy, and Tepig have been swapped with Paras, Numel, and Tortuga. Here we can see a clear difference in quality, albeit not equally. Starter Pokemon are incredible Pokemon to Nuzlocke with. They have fast XP curves, great stats, and tend to evolve relatively early. They're usually the de facto Pokemon for you to rely on in a tough spot, and very few Pokemon can compete with the value that a starter Pokemon provides. The 3 new starters offered to us have none of that. Starting with the typing of the starters, we can clearly see some disadvantages. All 3 starters are 4 times weak to some typing, and looking at their stats, they're all very slow. Clearly inferior to the original starters, but one Pokemon stands out in particular. Take a guess as to which starter is the best in the comments below, and like and subscribe while you're at it. I do so many more of these Nuzlocke on my channel, so I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Anyway, the best starter is Tortuga, but why? It's quad weak to grass, which is really common, so why not choose Paras, whose fire weakness doesn't show up often? Well, it's exactly because of Tortuga's unique typing that makes it so good. When you're trying to determine the quality of an encounter, it's also important to consider how far along the game you are to truly understand its value. Tortuga is a rock-type Pokemon who resists a lot of early game normal moves. It also has incredible defense for a Pokemon this early on, making it essentially a defensive tank. This is what makes Tortuga the best starter. Moving along the first part of the game, we reach the first gym with a couple new encounters, Poochyena, Sunkern, and a Gift Imposter Ditto. Poochyena isn't a great Pokemon, but will eventually evolve into a monstrous Intimidate Mightyena. Sunkern here is just bad. It can be good in some other games like Emerald Kaizo, but in Generation 5, a game that prioritizes speed and aggression, the game really tends to favor fast Pokemon since gym leaders tend to use very fast Pokemon themselves. This is where Imposter Ditto comes in. Ditto is naive nature with 27 speed IVs. Since Ditto copies the base out of any Pokemon out on the field, but not the nature or IV spread, unless the opponent has exactly a plus speed nature, which is usually never, we will usually always outspeed the other Pokemon. This is good for damage calculating purposes where I assume neutral nature and max IVs for the trainer Pokemon, because it guarantees that we'll always outspeed. This makes Ditto a perfect counter for any Pokemon out on the field. The first gym battle starts with our Poochyena out against their Lillipup. I begin by setting up Howls to build our attack while he does the same with Work Up, and after setting up 2 Howls, a simple Bite knocks out the Lillipup before it can do anything to us. His second Pokemon Pansage also tries to do the same, setting up a Work Up to build its attack, but again, a Bite knocks him out in 1 hit. This earns us the very first batch without even having to use most of my team. Along the way to Nacrene City, we make sure to get the Doubles Grass encounter on Route 3 to double our chances of getting a good Pokemon, which gives us either Wurmple or Rattata. I chose to catch the Wurmple because a Guts Raticate isn't always guaranteed, whereas both Dustox and Beautifly get Quiver Dance and Bug Buzz later on. Bug types do extremely well in the Gen 5 Elite Four, so choosing Wurmple here was an easy decision. Wellspring Cave offers us a Baltoy, a good defensive Pokemon for coverage, and the outside of Pinwheel Forest gives us a Caterpie, another potential Quiver Dance Bug Buzz user. With this Pokemon selection at our disposal, I quickly realized a major problem. We have no good counter for Lenore's Herdier. Mightyena and Tortuga need to stay healthy for the Watchog since a boosted Stab Retaliate isn't easy to tank. None of the other Pokemon can do anything either because they're too frail, and on top of that, the Herdier itself has Intimidate, rendering any Pokemon I send in unable to deal significant amounts of damage. So, not even 2 batches in, I was already stuck. Or so I thought. Remember the Ditto? Well, if I just send out my Ditto and Imposter copy the Herdier, then I just have a free Herdier to use. The battle plan was starting to form. She leads out with Herdier, which I can then copy with my Ditto, which copies everything including abilities, so now we have the ability to intimidate the Herdier as well. We both start by leering each other down before I hit a takedown on the second turn. As I make the switch into Mightyena to further intimidate the Herdier, she simply goes for another leer on my Mightyena, giving us the free kill with Bite on the next turn. The Watchog that comes out sees the boosted Retaliate as highest damaging move, but a switch into the resistant Tortuga can significantly reduce the damage. Thankfully, Watchog just misses a Hypnosis, giving us some free Aqua Chip damage on the next turn. She hits a Crunch on my Tortuga, dealing virtually no damage, so I hit another Aqua Jet for some more chip. Eventually, we do succumb to the Hypnosis, but a Chesto Berry instantly wakes us up. A potion heals up the Watchog back up to full, but another cycle of Aqua Jets and Crunches eventually finishes the Watchog to earn us the basic badge. During our little excursion to Castelia, we're introduced to the evil plans of Team Plasma. As we're chasing them out of Pinwheel Forest, we encounter ourselves an Audino, a rustling grass encounter. After retrieving the Dragon Skull and reaching Castelia, we're ready to get our last encounter before Berg, Spinda. I snagged the Eviolite from a scientist in Castelia, which will come in handy when I'm trying to tank Berg's bug moves. Spinda actually turns out to be a great encounter since it learns Psybeam, a special psychic move which perfectly counters the physically bulky Whirlipede. His second Pokemon Dwebble is all defense and no attack, since a single Aqua Jet from Tortuga deals half health to the Dwebble. A second Aqua Jet barely doesn't kill, though the next time around it high rolls to take him out. His Leavanny was by far the scariest Pokemon, boasting a massive 103 attack with Stab, Razor Leaf, and Bug Bite. I initially planned to use Mightyena to drop its attack while also getting in some chip damage since we wouldn't die to a crit, but a very well-timed critical threatened me to make my decisions a little bit more carefully. Now with the knowledge that the game can just choose when to crit me, I decided to swap into Audino, who is much tankier with massive HP and Regenerator. After a second crit made me doubt myself, a secret power brings Leavanny down to the red. I swap in my Ditto to copy the Leavanny and finish the job, as Berg's Leavanny simply fails to protect. A struggle bug from my imposter Leavanny finishes Berg's team, earning us the Insect badge, but also leaving me in a state of fear of a sentient AI. The team composition for Elisa was not looking too great. After getting Lileep and Unknown from the Desert Resort and Relic Castle respectively, I realized that my team has absolutely nothing for Elisa. All of my Pokemon are slower and they all deal virtually no damage. This next gym battle would be a tough one to claw my way out of. Lost Lorn Forest gave us a Nuzleaf, a good electric resist but weak to the Aerial Aces on Emolga, and dead to the Flame Charge on Zebstrika. The doubles encounter on Route 5 however offered me the much better options of a Sock or a Sentret. If there is one weakness about Elisa's team, it's her lack of coverage. Aside from normal moves, the only real coverage she has are Flying and Fire. Since I did have a Ground-type Baltoy, I was actually sorta confident I could pull out a victory. My team combination had a large variety of types that can synergize in many ways. I started with my Imposter Ditto to copy the Emolga, and immediately Volt Switch into Baltoy to get in some free chip damage. Hoping that Baltoy could deal enough damage, I used an Ancient Power expecting a kill, but it only brought the Emolga down to the red health, which got healed next turn. Gradually though, after slowly chipping away at its health, a final Ancient Power knocks out the first Emolga, only to see a second one take its place. Knowing that Aerial Ace is its highest damaging move, I tried to switch out Baltoy, not realizing that I accidentally Pursuit Trapped myself. With Baltoy down and no more electric immune Pokemon, I quickly come up with a counter strategy to finish the battle. Mightyena comes in to face the Emolga, opting to tank a Volt Switch in order to hit the free dig on the incoming Zebstrika. But with Zebstrika only at yellow health and faster than my entire team, there's a fatal flaw in my plan. Zebstrika can take out all my Pokemon with a critical spark. Everyone except for himself. See, Zebstrika's ability is Lightning Rod, which boosts special attack instead of taking damage when hit by an electric move. By sending in Ditto to copy Lightning Rod, we can come in on the Zebstrika full health with a free +1 in special attack. We both opt to boost our speed with Flame Charge, with the only difference being that our Flame Charge takes out their Zebstrika. And now with the healthy Zebstrika out on the field, there's no better way to put it. We are free to spark the Emolga. That's fine with us. Kinda unlucky. Well, not unlucky. That was actually my fault. I shouldn't have played it so risky. But we lost Baltoy, so that's on me. That's on me. Between Clay and Elisa are a couple more encounters that may or may not be useful. A delay on Route 16 for the Dark Grass gave us a Technician Minccino, and a Shadow encounter on the Driftville Drawbridge gave us a Tropius. I made sure to evolve my Minccino at level 31 to pick up the Expert Belt from this guy in the Driftville Market, then headed to the Cold Storage to potentially catch myself one of the best encounters in the game. The grass at the Cold Storage has a 20% chance of Snorunt, half of which are female and can evolve into Frostlass. There's also a 20% chance of Vanillite, which is pretty decent since Vanillux has some of the highest special attack in all of Gen 5. Take a guess as to which one I got. Thankfully, the Deerling we got on Route 6 is a bit better. Before heading to the 5th gym, we have to clear the Cold Storage, where all the Team Plasma Grunts are huddled around Zinzalin, on his knees, waiting to get a face full of The 5th gym leader Clay is no joke in this game, and is one of the biggest run killers in any Gen 5 Nuzlocke. However, with my wide assortment of Pokemon, we can render his team quite useless. Beautiful had led the battle with a Mega Drain taking the Crocorock to half health as it hits us with a Swagger for confusion. We're luckily holding a Person Berry that instantly snaps us out of confusion, so a second Mega Drain can finish off the Crocorock. His Excadrill comes in wanting to go for a Rock Slide, so this makes the swap into Sock completely safe as it's a resisted move. Brick Break nearly one-shots Excadrill as it hits us with Bulldoze, both dealing damage and lowering our speed to be slower than Excadrill. I make a quick pivot into Tropius to chip the Excadrill with a Grass Knot, then swap back into Swap as it goes for a Rock Slide. Not only is Sock faster now since we swapped, but we can also take out the Excadrill with a Brick Break due to the chip damage. The final Palpitoad doesn't stand a chance against my Shiftry, so a combination of Fake Out into Grass Knot ends the Palpitoad as it tries to set up an Aqua Ring. This easy victory over the most notorious Gen 5 run killer earns us the Quake badge. After a quick demolishing over Bianca, we get the HM Fly and head over to Chargestone Cave to get another encounter. Here we get another great encounter in Clink. Looking at all the Pokemon we have up to this point, we can see a clear lack of defensive Pokemon, so this was a perfect time to add a Steel type to our roster. Another Plasma Grunt Gauntlet and a rival fight with N blocks us from reaching Mistralton Gym and a couple more encounters. You might have noticed that I've been skipping all the rival fights, and for good reason. Their teams are about the same as ours in terms of quality, and that makes for really boring content, so I'll skip over all the rival fights for now. Before entering Gym 6, we have 2 more encounters to catch, a Xatu on Route 7, and an Absol in Celestial Tower. Skyla is usually a pretty easy gym leader to overcome as long as you have a decent electric type or rock type, of which we have none. Her Pokemon are fast and also incredibly aggressive, which makes switching and taking hits from Skyla incredibly difficult. I decide to lead with Mightyena to attack the Subat's psychic weakness. We gotta take a full power acrobatics, but thankfully, Intimidate reduces the damage and a Stab Bite one-shots her Subat. Unfezant has the lowest damage output of any team member, so I take this opportunity to send in Clink to set up charge beams. Clink is holding Eviolite to increase his defenses to hopefully help him last longer. After a couple charge beams give me +3 in special attack, Unfezant goes down to a Volt Switch to give me the free switch into Ditto. Her Swanna crits us with an Air Slash, bringing her health down to 10 HP, as an Air Slash of her own only deals a fourth of the Swanna's health. Licky Licky switches in on an Air Slash and manages to dodge the next one to hit a massive return. The Shell Bell recovery gives me some health back, so on the next turn, a second return takes out the Swanna, earning us a 6th badge. Now with 6 badges in our collection, we can also get the HM Surf, which unlocks a total of 10 new encounters before the next gym. Here's everything that we got. We get a Ducklet on Route 17, Clamperl on Route 18, Herdier at the P2 Laboratory, Jigglypuff in Mistralton Cave, Woobat in Guidance Chamber, Cranidos in Twist Mountain, Weasel in Iciris City, Pinsir in the Moor of Iciris, Simisage on Route 8, and Mr. Mime outside of Dragon Spiral Tower. With the number of Pokemon at our disposal nearly doubled, the team preparation for Bryson was quite easy. Bryson is probably the easiest gym leader in this generation. The easy ice typing combined with the sheer number of encounters you can obtain by this point makes any Bryson fight trivial. Can we just destroy them with Gear Grind? That is the question. I'm 6'3"? Of course I'm 6'3"! We have, what's it called? Eviolite though, so it's not gonna do that much damage. Yeah, this is annoying. That's big damage, big damage. Icicle Crash, immediately. That was a crit, okay. I'll take that crit. Simple is so nice. Easy. Too easy. With 7 badges to our name, we have to clear a huge Grunt Gauntlet in Dragon Spiral Tower before proceeding to the next city. Here we get ourselves a Hariyama to our aid, but the grunts still all went down without a hitch. The string of grunts continues at the Relic Castle, where we get a little deep in conversation now that we have all this free time sweeping through grunts. You know what's always confused me? These two people are not double battles, they are 2 individual single battles. I mean, it's fine, but like, kind of weird, you're next to each other. It's like hanging out with a girl the entire time. You're really good friends with her. Ooh, that's actually really good. You hang out all the time and you don't ask her out. What a shame. That's all I can say. What a shame. As we make our way towards Opelucid City, we start to notice that our rivals aren't playing anymore, and they're pulling out some really capable Pokemon. Bianca starts her battle with us with an Intimidate Stoutland, dropping the attack of my Hariyama. Thankfully, I took the liberty to pre-burn Hariyama, giving me the Guts attack boost and negating the attack drop from Intimidate. This allows me to hit the Stoutland hard with a Brick Break. Bianca goes for the full restore, so after a second Brick Break drops the Stoutland down to red health, we can tank or retaliate to kill the Stoutland with a 3rd Brick Break. Musharna comes in next, seeing a Psybeam as a kill, so I swap into Mr. Mime to tank the Psybeam and use a substitute on the next turn to prevent a Hypnosis. Now with no real way of damaging Mr. Mime, Bianca's Musharna goes down to 2 Shadow Balls. She sends in her strongest physical attacker in Emboar, but since I still have my substitute up, I decide to set up a Reflect to reduce any further physical damage. The RNG gods must have been listening on my plan, because at that point as I send in Swanna on a takedown, she gets a critical to hit through my reflect, leaving Swanna on 11 HP. Please tell me I can kill with Scald in the Rain. I have to be able to, right? No way this lives. If this lives and takes out my Swanna, then Swanna deserves to die. Okay, I was gonna say. The final semi-stage provides no value for Bianca's team, so after Pinsir swaps in to tank a Seed Bomb, an Exeter takes him out, beating Bianca for the rest of the run. On Route 9, we get our last encounter Stunky before taking on the final gym leader Drayden. The last gym fight can go one of two ways, either really well or really badly. Drayden's Pokemon all have Dragon Dance, an incredibly broken move that boosts both speed and attack. If we manage to take out his Pokemon before they set up too much, we should be good, right? Fracture starts the battle by immediately going for a Dragon Dance to buff his stats. A little greedy because I hit him right back with a Guts boosted, Normal Gem boosted, Max Friendship return of 285 base power. This takes out his Fracture, bringing in his second Pokemon, Druddigon. Return on the Druddigon deals a little more than half his health with the final burn damage on Hariyama, reducing her health to a third. I go for the kill on the Druddigon, bringing Hariyama down to 26 HP from the burn and rough skin damage. As he sends on his Haxorus, I swap out into Floatzel on an incoming Slash. I make sure to reteach Floatzel Ice Fang with a move reminder, and with an Ice Gem equipped, it barely brings a Haxorus down to red health as I get off a Dragon Dance. I predict that the AI will heal this turn, so I safely switch into Swanna on the heal turn and get off a Feather Dance as he goes for a second Dragon Dance. I use another 2 Feather Dances as he continues to Dragon Dance, eventually bringing him down to -2 attack, but +4 speed. With Drayden's Haxorus so incredibly fast yet unable to deal damage, I swap in Licky Licky with Gyro Ball, a move that deals damage the slower you are. With the Haxorus at +4 speed, a single Gyro Ball is able to do massive damage to finish off the Haxorus, getting us the final batch of the Unova collection. With no badges left to get, the only task left before we complete this challenge is to get our final encounters and defeat the Pokemon League. There is a final rival battle with Charent on Route 10, but with a team as diverse as ours, his Pokemon stood no chance against our squad of E14 rejects. In order to have a chance against the Unova Elite Four, we need to come up with a solid E4 team. The Elite Four in Unova is very unique because they have very large overlaps in both strengths and weaknesses. Unfortunately, our Pokemon quality is just not that great, so we were actually in a very tight situation. A Sigilyph on Route 10 is a pretty decent encounter. Not only is it fast and offensive, but it also has an extremely wide move pool. Unfortunately, due to some poor IVs, it would not be good enough to be considered for the Elite Four team. A Marowak from inside the Victory Road seemed to have good potential, but a minus attack nature and a lack of bulk meant that it would die to any special moves it came across. Although my encounters weren't great, I did have most of a team figured out. Klinklang and Mr. Mime would serve as my 2 defensive pillars, Klinklang for physical defenses and Mr. Mime for the special. Absol and Pinsir would be my 2 powerhouse Pokemon. Though a little frail, they both had access to Swords Dance and nothing could stand in their way if they were set up properly. Hariyama's on the team for the fighting coverage, as well as some additional bulk and chip damage with Fake Out. The last thing this team needed for perfect synergy was a pivot and some speed. Some of the options that jumped out are Starmie or Crobat, but of course those are too good to be in the game. Really, any Pokemon that could fit both of those criteria were deemed too good and were thus not added. That was until I got my very last encounter. Possible encounters are Jinx, Cryogonal, Snover, Cubchoo, Frostlass. Frostlass, Jinx, we're happy. Anything else? Not so much. First time. We're happy. We are happy. Frostlass was the perfect solution. Fast enough, and with immunities to some of the team's major weaknesses, this team was ready to take on the Unova Elite Four, but this would be no easy task. Unova was presented as its own separate region, and thus the Elite Four team are stacked with high-quality Pokemon. We were in for a challenge. First is Chantal, the easiest of the Elite Four. Her Cofagrigus started the battle with a Will-O-Wisp, trying to cripple our offenses. With Absol equipped with a Lumberry to cure the burn, we taunt the Cofagrigus, forcing it to attack us with Shadow Balls. As she chipped away at our health, Absol began the sweep by sending up a Swords Dance. By the time taunt wears off, the turn ends with Absol set up at +6 attack. I'm sure you can see where this is going. None of her Pokemon bothered to pack any priority moves like Shadow Sneak or Sucker Punch, though it really wouldn't have mattered because Absol ran Sucker Punch as well. The second member to face was Grimsley, the Dark-type Playboy. I led the fight with Hariyama against his fighting-type weak Scrafty. A Fake Out into Brick Break combination with the Guts boost dealt enough damage to finish the Scrafty before he could do too much damage to me. Liepard comes in second holding an Aerial Ace Death Note. I quickly pivot through Klinklang who easily takes the hit, then Volt Switch out into Pinsir. Forgetting that Liepard was actually faster, I do another pivot back into Klinklang to get some more chip damage into the Liepard, and the Volt Switch actually crits, giving us the free kill. I proceed to send Pinsir back in as he sends out his Crocodile. Something I haven't mentioned so far is that everything in the Elite Four is calculated down to the percent. Here, Pinsir always kills and should just be able to outspeed the I couldn't believe it. Did I miss something? Did I accidentally give myself EVs? Were my IVs wrong? No, everything in the document was correct. So what could have possibly went wrong? Calculating purposes where I assume neutral nature and max IVs for the trainer Pokemon, because it guarantees that. It turns out that I was wrong to assume that all trainers are neutral natured max IVs. In fact, it was totally the opposite. Every single trainer in this game has a specifically tailored team, each with a unique nature and IV spread. This single wrong assumption had cost me my perfect Elite Four run. In fact, had it not been for a viewer, I would have never figured this out because this nature and IV datasheet was only available to the Pokemon speedrunning community. I was angry, no, furious. So what did I do? I tried again. I even went as far as to sack Absol just to bring in Hariyama to ensure that the Crocodile went down. And so, Grimsley was defeated, but the run was lost. There really wasn't much else for me to do, so just for fun, I tried to see how far I could get in this challenge. Caitlyn goes down as I originally planned. I started with Pinsir and used a Swords Dance, and as long as Psychic didn't crit, we were guaranteed a victory. There's a Psychic. There it is. All according to plan. Marshall was a bit trickier since the Sock had Sturdy, but with Mr. Mime having massive special attack stat, Psychic was able to defeat the first throw and Mienshao. Sock came in trying to hit a Stone Edge on a Mr. Mime, but her physical wall and Klinklang could easily soak up the damage. Now with information about Sock's exact stats, I determined that Klinklang actually outsped the Sock, and so I fast Volt Switch back into Mr. Mime to tank the Brick Break while also breaking its Sturdy. From there, another 2 Psychics finishes the last of Marshall's team. Everything went according to plan. Information allows for preparation, but with preparation comes realization. As in, now that I know exactly what kind of Pokemon N and Getsus have on their teams, I stand no chance of beating them. The challenge was already lost, so was there really any point of trying? Well, yeah, for my pride as a Nuzlocker. After an entire day of strategizing and planning, this is what I came up with. Okay, so the way the plan works goes like this. We are going to PP stall the Zekrom out of attacking moves. It only has Giga Impact, Fusion Bolt, and Zen Headbutt. We're going to swap between Marowak for the Fusion Bolt, Frostlass for the Giga Impact, and Zen Headbutts are going to be stalled by Skuntank. And that's 5 Giga Impacts. So now all it has is Zen Headbutt. We stall that out with Taunt on Skuntank. Okay, so it's out of all attacking moves. All it has is Light Screen left. So Mr. Mime comes in, and this is where the strategy gets nutty. Swagger the Zekrom 3 times so that it's +6. So that's Swagger once, that's +2. Swagger twice, that's +4. Swagger 3 times, okay, that's +6. So now it's at +6 attack. We are going to Psych Up to gain that +6 attack. So now we're +6 attack. And then, I'm pretty sure you guys can see where this is going. We're going to Baton Pass our +6 attack into our Floatzel. Floatzel outspeeds everything on his team. We should basically kill everything. That was a range to kill. That's 1 down. That's 2 down. This is the 3 down. Okay, Caracosta. This is the one that we have to be very careful about. We do have to avoid a critical here. Waterfall will leave it to 1 HP. Just please don't crit. Just please don't crit. Okay, Sturdy. Please don't crit. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. It's fine. That's 4 down. This is obviously dead. And last but not least, Vanillux. 6 down. That is a flawless, well, nearly flawless end. Okay, Getsus. So the plan with Getsus is going to be a little bit harder to pull off, but it's basically the same. Basically the same. We're going to taunt install it until it runs out of moves, so it's going to take a while. Alright, so in comes my Mr. Mime. If it Toxics us, we do have a Recycle with Petra Berry, so that should keep the Toxic off of us. Swagger. So it is going for Toxic. +2 right now. Confused. Perfect. We'll take those. Okay, this is the second one. So that's +4. +6. We Psych Up. Okay, Floatzel. Perfect. And now we outspeed and crunch. This does have Mummy, which will give us Mummy instead of Swift Swim, but that's completely fine. Okay, that's 1 down. And I think that's it. I think we win. That's 2. Perfect. We win. Is that it? That's 5. No, that's 5. Right? That's it. What a nutty strategy, guys. What a nutty strategy. I can't believe we lost that stupid crit to that stupid crocodile. That's so annoying, man. God, we still technically didn't win this challenge, so I'm gonna have to do this again, aren't I?